I look at this as 4 levels of graduated success. The first level, you can actually conduct an effective meeting for a very small group simply with one laptop computer. Most laptops come with a camera on it. They come with their own speakers. Plug it in, get on Zoom. The people that can see you, you can see them on the screen. And if it's just 2 or 3 of you, you can settle around the screen. Very, very basic, very rudimentary, but functional. Add a small camera to that to get a better view of the room and plug it into something like a monitor or a television, like we have the privilege of having here at MetroCrest in the party room. And voila, everyone in the room can see what everyone online can see, and vice versa. Once you can do that, then you can expand. The next level is that second computer with a second camera, because one of the first things that we learned was that in order to have the audience experience online,
Welcome to D50 After Dark. I'm your host, Mickey Bennett, and in today's episode, we will be again talking to David Haney, and we're going to be talking about hybrid meeting in a bag. This will be a great episode, especially for those of you who want to expand your club's horizons. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Nunu Buffet in Addison, Texas. Nunu Buffet is a Chinese buffet on Beltline Road in Addison, and this place is huge. They have plenty of seating, so you'll never be waiting in line, and they're constantly replacing the food, so it's always hot and fresh. And I'm reliably told that the sesame chicken is particularly delicious. So next time you're craving Chinese food, come down to Nunu Buffet in Addison, Texas, and enjoy a meal. All right, welcome to D50 After Dark. And David, it's good to have you back.
thank you very much for having me again.
So, Mr. Semi-retired IT guy, you are a hybrid meeting expert, I would say. And we started to talk last time a little bit about hybrid meetings, but let's start fresh. What is a hybrid meeting and why would I want to do it?
Well, hybrid meetings are technically meetings where you have a combination of in-person participation and online participation, not unlike the corporate environment. And the idea for hybrid meetings, at least the design that we came up for hybrid meeting in a bag, came from the technological ability to package up what had been done in my past history from my own experience in the corporate world, and the miniaturization of the technology and the advent of Zoom to make the technology available to the general public.
So you've got people in person, you've got people who are online, and they can see each other and interact with each other.
Correct.
So how does that work?
Well, in the old days, the 1990s, the early 2000s, you'd spend between $15,000 and $25,000 in order to put in high-end network lines with big television sets and cameras that people had to manage and operate during the meeting, just so people sitting around a table could see other people who were sitting around a table in another building. But with the current technology that we have today, you can actually run a complete meeting for Toastmasters in a facility like this using less than $100 cameras on less than $50 tripods with less than $200 computers operating the Zoom that your club could pay for as an annual membership for less than $100. And there's a little bit of money involved in the building, but very little of it is recurring. So once you've built the system, you can use it for years. And as long as you take care of your equipment, the hybrid system in a bag that we have here at MetroCrest is coming up on 6 years old.
6 years.
Mhm.
Which leads to my next question. Now, online meetings had started before the COVID pandemic.
Mhm.
However, due to the nature of the pandemic and the response to it, everybody had to either stop meeting or go online for at least a period of time. And that was a real um, opportunity for hybrid meetings to come into play once everybody had become used to online meetings. So how did your experience with hybrid meetings in the Toastmasters context begin and evolve?
I would say that hybrid meetings for MetroCrest Toastmasters were a survival activity. When COVID first hit, we were seeing clubs dropping like flies, not meeting anymore. They couldn't get together in person. They didn't have the luxury of having technology people in many of these clubs. Some did, many did not. MetroCrest Toastmasters ended up during that year where we were all sequestered, absorbing two different clubs from the area that couldn't survive for whatever reason. They were shrinking their membership. They couldn't get online. They couldn't meet in person, and so the clubs chose just to dissolve. And so the people who still wanted to be part of that came to MetroCrest and found that they could use this hybrid system in order to participate from the comfort of their own homes. And the strange thing about the hybrid system was it was originally created just to be a traveling Zoom interface for business. I had used it myself whenever I was traveling to other places, especially via my truck driving down to Houston and back, stop on the side of the road, plug in and use the, DC adapter in my pickup truck, hang the entire system off of the hotspot in my phone and actually conduct a face-to-face conversation or interview from the side of the road on Interstate 45. That convenient business need, interesting terminology there, but I call it a convenient business need, ended up being the basis of adapting for what we have today in the hybrid meeting in a bag.
So you took your experience that you'd already had
Mm.
and brought it to Metro Crest Toastmasters and provided them with a hybrid experience, and you were able to make it very compact so that you could carry it around in a bag.
Yeah, when I say in a bag, I use a standard overnight computer travel bag, and that's where all of the equipment sits. The original system was two used um, Microsoft Surface 3s, which have one USB port in them and a power plug, and they operate wirelessly. I had at the time a 4G phone. It turned out that the 4G phone would work as the wireless hotspot for those two tablets. We went out and bought two $79 Logitech cameras, pointed one at the podium for the speakers and the other one at the audience so the people online could see everyone else in the room and get that feel for the fact that there were other people participating. And that was the initial basis for the hybrid system. Over time, we started adding pieces as they became convenient and available, tripods to get a better camera angle, cameras that had wider viewing angles so that you could see more of the space. So instead of being stuck behind the podium, you could go out and walk in the audience like you do in a real in-person meeting. And then we started adding a third computer. The little education computers that were being sold for about $100 at the time during COVID ended up being perfect machines for running Zoom. You only needed to run Zoom and nothing else. Those little computers could only do one thing at a time, but they could run Zoom perfectly. Plug in a camera, bada bing, bada boom, you've got a working Zoom station for a $79 Logitech camera and a $100 education computer made for elementary students.
So your hybrid meeting in a bag. So for those who are working to kind of solidify their own strategy for hybrid, what are the basic things needed for your hybrid meeting in a bag experience? You mentioned like two laptops.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually you had a third, but you were doing fine. You had two laptops, two cameras. And I guess you need a TV screen.
Right. And that's probably the most difficult part to acquire. I look at this as four levels of graduated success. The first level, you can actually conduct an effective meeting for a very small group simply with one laptop computer. Most laptops come with a camera on it. They come with their own speakers. Plug it in, get on Zoom. The people that can see you, you can see them on the screen. And if it's just two or three of you, you can settle around the screen. Very, very basic, very rudimentary, but functional. Add a small camera to that to get a better view of the room and plug it into something like a monitor or a television, like we have the privilege of having here at MetroCrest in the party room. And voila, everyone in the room can see what everyone online can see, and vice versa. Once you can do that, then you can expand. The next level is that second computer with a second camera, because one of the first things that we learned was that in order to have the audience experience online, they needed to see the audience in the room.
Mhm.
When they could see the audience, they could feel like they were part of the audience. Once they felt like they were part, they would participate more. It was a self-feeding process. So, first camera, all about the speaker. Second camera and computer, all about the audience. Then you just add little pieces and parts to make it more effective at level 3, such as better internet access so that you don't have jitters in the process. And then at level 4, you can get really fancy. Not only do you have tripods for your cameras to be effective, but you can get some very inexpensive, less than $50 omnidirectional microphones that you can plug in, which will pick up all the audio in the room. We happen to use one here in MetroCrest that we set here in the front that not only picks up the speaker, but can pick up anyone in the room speaking as well. So when your roll holders, your timer, etc., stand up to do their bit, they can be heard by the people online just as well as if they were sitting in the room. And the entire process of building that system has significantly less than $1,000 into it, spread out over 6 years in order to grow all four of these steps. But you can start as cheaply as one laptop computer with its built-in camera and its microphone.
Yeah.
So it's how far do you want to go? How important to you is the ability to share with people? How big is your club? Do you have the opportunity, like we do here, to use a large television or monitor on the wall to give the people in the room the ability to see what the people online can see, and vice versa? Of all of those components, I would say two are the most important. Number one, good internet access. Without good internet access, the rest of this doesn't work. Number two, the TV on the wall. It's the one thing we don't carry around. It doesn't fit in the bag. You have to have the ability to plug into that. Now, can you get cables that run? Yeah, we have a 75-foot cable that could run all the way to the back of the room if we needed to make that work. So that there's not much of a technical challenge to adapting your system to fit the room, as long as you have those two key components of internet and a TV so that you can share the experience with everyone.
So obviously having a room with the TV for your hybrid meeting is ideal.
Mhm.
Have you experimented any with using like a projector and a projector screen?
We absolutely have. We, at one point, couldn't get into this facility and use this room in 2022 for about 3 months while it was being renovated. And someone, a member of our organization, had a LCD projector, an Epson, I believe, color LCD projector, and we used that instead, projected right up on the wall in the room that we adapted to for the time. White wall, nice projector, same effect.
So if someone is today, say they're meeting on Zoom,
Mhm.
they want to go hybrid, they'll need to make an investment in some equipment.
Mhm.
Obviously, most people, at least a couple people in the club, are going to have laptops. So you don't need to have laptops dedicated for your club's meetings. Members can use their own laptops,
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
So what do they need and how much are they looking to spend?
Let's assume that the club has at least two laptops that they can use for purpose,
Yep,
and that the club has a monitor on the wall or a projector that
yep,
they can gain access to.
yep.
If they have those things, then truly the only thing they need to acquire in most cases is a better camera.
Hmm.
These Logitech C720s, They have both a much better lens on them, are capable of high definition, and have dual microphones on them. And they pick up relatively well up to about 10 feet. So if the group is small enough that they can meet around a set of tables, such as we have right here, that's all the technology they would need to add to the equation in order to be successful.
The microphone,
The
or I
microphone,
mean, sorry, the
the
camera
camera
with
with the
mic.
microphone built in.
Yeah,
Right.
and what's the model you recommend,
The C720.
and how much do those run?
I think they sell right now for about $79 plus tax over here at Micro Center, and you can get them at Best Buy and all kinds of other places.
So $79 for the camera and their own laptops, a venue that has a TV screen, and the internet connection.
That's it.
A lot of people will probably have a cell phone plan that includes using a hotspot from their cell phone.
Mhm.
Is that sufficient?
It is. We ran the original system back in 2021 off of a single 4G phone, and it fed two cameras and two computers from that wireless hotspot. I now use a 5G phone that can feed as many as five. So with a 5G phone, you can have the internet power to feed the camera on the speaker, the camera on the audience, and at least one and possibly even two people who come in and bring their computers with them so that they can make presentations as part of their speech. And you have the horsepower in a single phone's hotspot on 5G to do all of that.
Now, for those who aren't semi-retired IT guys and need a little bit of a step-by-step explanation of how to set this up and how to run it in this way, are there resources out there that could kind of explain to them how to do this?
Absolutely. I had the privilege of putting together a little how-to several years ago for our club at MetroCrest, simply because I couldn't be here at every meeting. I was still traveling for work and still am today. When I'm not here, the little how-to served the purpose of having one of the other members of the club put the system together. But then in 2022, along comes Tommy, and Tommy helps put together a formal document with pictures and graphics and step one, step two, follow the leader, visuals. And you can just monkey see, monkey do with the equipment and put it together and make it operate. And it's pretty straightforward. It's been made available, I think, for about 2 years. It's been hanging around as one of the files you can download off the D50 website. And if anyone is interested in getting their hands on an updated version, hit up Tommy, hit up me. We'll be more than happy to email you a copy, PDF, and pictures, words, follow the leader.
So if they want the how-to, they can find it on d50tm.org, or they can reach out to you or Tommy.
That's correct. And I'd say probably start with Tommy and myself first, because we've created updated documents that D50 may not have.
Okay.
But as step two, if you can't get in touch with one of the two of us, go and get the older documents that are out there. They're still functional. They just don't have as many pretty pictures.
So how important does implementing hybrid meetings, how important has that been to the success of Metro Crest Toastmasters?
Hybrid meetings were the key to survival during COVID.
Yeah.
No question about it. After COVID, hybrid has been a key flexibility element that allows members who are having a change in job, a change in life situation, to continue to come when they can't physically be here and present in person. If you're a business person and you travel for work, but you want to continue to participate and interact, hybrid is perfect, because hotel room, office conference room, doesn't matter where you are, there you are, and you can be here. Simple login on Zoom and off you go. Zoom presents a technically simple approach to participation, because you can make single links on your company's agenda, on your web page, whatever. The club's webpage. Okay. The club's webpage can have a single link placed on it that says, click here to go to the meeting. And it can be that simple for some of your non-technical users. They don't need to know how to use a computer. They can just open up their email, open up the agenda, click on the click here, and off they go right into the tool. And in MetroCrest, we have no logins, no IDs and passwords. The system is somewhat secure because it's unique and only known to the club members. But for the non-technical of the group, it's a one-click solution. Click on this and off you go, and you're in the hybrid meeting. No stops, no passwords, no, I have to go somewhere else. It can be made very simple for club members who may not be familiar or comfortable with technology so that they can make that adjustment and get used to it. In MetroCrest, we've got a couple of people that are so used to it that they actually attend more now remote than they attend in person. And as the VP of Ed, I kind of got to go somewhere every once in a while to get into the building, but that usually happens rarely. And the ability, we have members that are in England. We have a current member who used to be our past president who's in Wyoming. It really doesn't matter what time zone you're in, what locations you're in. If you've got a computer and you've got an internet connection, you can participate in a hybrid meeting. It's that simple.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I think that's it for hybrid meetings for now. Before we finish off the episode, do you have any call to action for our listeners?
If your club is considering growth, if you're looking to expand beyond the 5 to 10 mile radius borders of your in-person participation, you don't have a huge amount of money, but you do have a need and a desire to have people from outside your area come and participate, hybrid is a wonderful way to get more people involved. You can get them involved remotely within your own club's existing membership. You can get other members of other clubs to come to your meetings. But most importantly, you can present an opportunity for people in the business or community to participate from the convenience of their own home. And when they can do that, they run out of some of the excuses they have for not coming. And that can be a powerful influence on getting more members to join. It certainly has for MetroCrest.
So the call to action is to try out hybrid. And what I would add to that is if they'd like to see it in action, perhaps they should come if they're in the DFW area,
Mhm.
maybe they should come visit Metro Crest Toastmasters and see how you guys do it.
Absolutely. They would be obviously welcome to come anytime. We have a facility here that can actually seat over 50 people at one time comfortably. So if they want to come, they can come and actually see it function. If they want to know how to build it, Tommy is an expert, and I'm more than happy to provide my guidance as well. But most importantly, if they want to get the feel of what hybrid is like, all they have to do is send us an email. We'll send them a copy of the agenda with that click here, one click solution, and they can come join in hybrid and get the direct impact of hybrid, how it feels, how it works from the comfort of their own home.
Very cool. And Metro Crest again meets Tuesdays at noon.
Tuesdays at noon, right here at Nunu Buffet in Addison, Texas.
And if noon in Addison's maybe not going to work for you, McKinney Motivators up in McKinney also does hybrid, I know, so you might check them out as well.
Yeah, and the Storytellers has also started doing hybrid as well. We're now seeing more clubs in District 50 get involved at hybrid, and I have a dream, and in my dream, all of the clubs in District 50 become hybrid in some form or function at some point in the future, because that's how we're going to grow.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, David, I very much appreciate you helping us to explore the concept of hybrid Toastmasters meetings and your success with having it a hybrid meeting in a bag. Very cool. And I appreciate the conversation. And for our listeners, we're going to have another conversation with David in our next episode. We're going to talk about AI tools for Toastmasters. I know that's the hot topic. You can't really get through any conversation anymore without somebody bringing up AI. Well, we're going to talk about how AI might apply to your Toastmasters experience. So stay tuned for our next episode of D50 After Dark. I'm your host, Mickey Bennett. Thank you for joining us.